my pain in the star cup. Always talk to myself cause it's only us. Always deep in my mind, don't know who to trust. I've been rolling around town feeling woozy, trying to ride on my side, gotta get
I'm back, and today we're going to be making a story time video. And I'm not real keen on making the stories and stuff because who actually wants to listen to my retarded ass? So, this one's going to be about the time where I royally messed up and decided, yeah, let's go steal a truck. So this happened on a week I got out of school, right? You know, freshman year, you know, I was pretty stupid. I still am, and I just got done with freshman year. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna call some of my friends and be like, yeah, you want to go come over to my house and hang for a little while? And they're like, yeah, I'll be over there in like 20. So it's me, two of my friends. My friends, I love them to death, but like, this is not a good time for us. So we decide that we're just gonna, yeah, let's go get something to eat and go around, mess around town a little bit. I was like, okay, my dad's keys are here. And around that time, it was around lunchtime. It's pretty active in my town when it gets around lunch. So we drive, we get out of my neighborhood, and I'm already starting to think this is not a good idea. So then we're like, okay, let's go get something to eat at Zaxby's. So we go to Zaxby's and we get something to eat, and well, we sit there, we eat, and then we're like, okay, we got a ton of time left, so let's go run around town for a minute. So we go right around town, and then we cross over an interstate, and around that time, we got to a gas station. I was like, okay, I'm gonna run in there and give me something to drink, because I was dying of thirst at that point. So I go in there and buy a drink. And so I bought my drink, walk back out, get back in the truck and plug my phone up, and we start playing music. And about that time, I was sitting there parked by a air compressor, like to air up your tires. And they were pulling out, and I guess they saw a car or something, so they started backing up. And at that point, I was like, oh no, this is not going to be good. And then they started like backing up, and it hit my dad's truck. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head, banging the steering wheel, getting so mad. Like, I was to the point where I was about to get out of the car and go beat some ass. Like, no cap. I was going to get out of the car and go beat their ass because they were not looking. Which, I mean, that's not the greatest thing to do in that situation. I should have probably just kept my cool and would have been nicer. So I got out of that truck, and I was like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, could you really not see this big white truck? This dude, I guarantee you, he had at least 3 teeth in his mouth. 3 teeth. This dude is the biggest hick I've ever met. He did not wear any deodorant. You could smell him from my truck door. I get out of the truck, and I could immediately smell him. I was like, dude, you stink. And he's like, dude, I'm only 15. Please don't call the cops. And I was like, dude, I'm only 15 too, so we're good. And he tries to hug me, and I just kind of let it happen. And for the rest of the day, I smelled like meth, corn, and period blood, because I guarantee you he just got done fingering his sister. It was disgusting. And around that time, I hop back in the truck, and I look at my friends, and I go, we need to get back home and make sure nothing's wrong. And at the time, my friend lived really close to me, so we pull into his driveway. Nobody was home there. We got out of the truck, and we popped the hood. We checked out everything, make sure everything was okay, and I told him to get on the ground, make sure the frame didn't look any damage. Well, he looks under there, and around, it didn't look bad. The only thing that looked bad was the bumper at that time. I didn't know anything else was wrong. So we get back in the truck, and the seat starts vibrating because I ruined one of the sensors, and the sensor's like $500. A $500 sensor to make sure no car's in front of you. That is honestly ridiculous that they make you pay $500 for a sensor. It honestly, I can't believe that just happened. Like, I was sitting there in disbelief that we actually still were able to drive the truck because it was not a good day. Well, I get back to the house. I'm trying to think of a way to, like, get me out of this and get out of this situation. And then I'm like, oh, I can ask my dad if I can go mow. And then blame it on the lawnmower. Blame it on the lawnmower. Like, what? So, I text my dad. I'm like, hey, can I go mow? So, I get the mower out. I didn't even think to do anything to the mower. I was like, he won't notice. No, it's no problem. And then I get off the mower. I move it to the side and I take a picture of where the truck hit. I go, hey Dad, I was trying to get the mower out. I didn't back the truck up and I hit it with the mower. And he just goes, oh no. Like, I don't even know what it said. I'm not even going to look at what it said, honestly. Because I do not want to relive that. And then I started mowing the lawn. I got the front yard done. And then we go back inside and we sit for a minute. We're like, oh yeah, we're all going to be fine. I'm not going to get in trouble. He won't find out. And then 15 minutes later, after I say that, my dad walks in the door, starts screaming and yelling, and then I realize I just had one of those oh shit moments whenever you get in trouble and you're like, oh shit, I'm a legit idiot. Like, honestly, like, I am beyond retarded. And at that point, my friends try to leave, and my dad wouldn't let him leave. And then he's like, you weren't leaving until I figure out what actually happened. And he's like, he yells my name, and he's like, come outside right now. We're gonna look at this truck. So then we look at the truck for a minute, and he's like, do you see anything wrong here? And he starts pointing at the headlights. And we look at the headlights, and I was like, yeah, there's scratches all on them. And he's like, this thing is not that tall. It cannot get that high up. And so around that point, he's like, yeah, you were lying to me, and I know you are, so why do you even try to cover it up? And I was like, I'm not lying to you. This is actually what happened. And I keep going back to that story. And by that time, my friends start walking down the road, and my dad asked them for their name. And at that point, I was like, this is not going to be good. He's going to ask where their parents live and all that. And at that point, he only asked one of my friend's parents and told them what happened. And then at that point, we started looking at the truck more, and then one of the quarter panels was dented in, and my story completely fell through. Like, I didn't think it could get any worse, and then we kept looking and kept finding more things, and at that point, we just quit looking because we didn't want to see any more, because I really didn't feel like getting in any more trouble than I already was, which I'm still in trouble with it. And it's been 6-7 months since then. And around 2 or 3 weeks later, I wake up to get ready for school, and then I get notified. My mom's like, you can sleep for a little while longer. It's going to be a long day. I was like, okay, cool. So I wake back up at like 8 o'clock, right? And I wake up around 8 o'clock, and my mom is in my doorway, and she says, get ready, we're going to the juvenile probation office. And I was like, for what? And she goes, you have a meeting with the juvenile probation lady. And I'm like, what for? And she's like, the truck. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. And we got ready. I went to the juvenile probation office. We met my dad there, and my dad was pretty mad. So we start talking, and about that time they call my parents in. So I'm sitting there in the lobby, And the nice receptionist lady, she was treating me really well. I actually like her. If I don't know your name, but shout out to you if you see this. But she was probably one of the nicest receptionist ladies. She's an old lady, and she was so sweet, honestly. And then my parents come out and said, she wants to talk to you about something. So I go in there, and she's like, I want you to tell me what happens, and I can tell if you're lying. And I was like, okay, well, here's what actually happened. And I told her everything, like what we were doing, why I took the truck, and all that good stuff. And then she's like, okay, what do you think should happen? She's like, I could send you to a juvenile camp, and you never get to see your parents again for 2 weeks or longer. And I was like, I think that this was just a big mistake, and all this other stuff, like I shouldn't get in this much trouble. And she goes, well, you basically committed a crime, a felony, basically. And I was like, you're right about that. I should probably be punished harder than I thought. And she's like, yeah, you think? And at that point, I was like, yeah, you're really right. And I'm sitting there in the chair, shaking, like I'm so scared. And she calls my parents in, and I tell them what actually happened, and they were like, see, it ain't that hard to tell the truth. See, if you would have told us the truth, this probably wouldn't have happened. It probably would, but it wouldn't be as bad. And then at that point, I have this plan I had to follow for a week, and if I did that, then I could get out of trouble with the juvenile probation lady. And it was that I had to wake myself up. I had to do a bunch of stuff. I couldn't have any of my phone or anything. And then she realizes, or then I did that, but I got in trouble the day before I was supposed to go see her again. I got in trouble because I was in a bathroom with my friends, and they were, juuling or whatever, and I was sitting there in the bathroom, and I wasn't doing anything, but I was talking to them, so it made me look guilty. Well, the principals heard them talking about going to the bathroom and juuling while I was already headed to the bathroom to go use the restroom and whatnot. Well, my friends walk in and they go, hey, look what we got. And they pull out their jewels, and I'm like, no, here we go. I was like, I can't do any of that stuff. One, because I really don't want to, and two, because I'm on like juvenile probation basically. And they're like, oh, okay, and they start talking to me and hitting it. So I'm sitting over there in the corner talking to them. And at that point, the principals walk in, and when the principals walk in, I flip around, whip it out, and start using the bathroom, like peeing. And the principal walks in, he goes, hey boys, like very loud, and I look over, and two of my friends are in one like urinal. I start shaking my head and go, oh my, I started thinking the worst, like I'm gonna get in so much trouble, I'm gonna be gone for so long, I'm gonna have to go to boot camp, I'm gonna have to do all this other stuff. And at that point, I was freaking out, like completely. And he goes, all right, empty out your pockets, let me search you. And I go, look, I wasn't doing anything, I was legit in here talking. He goes, okay, you can go out. And then the police officer that was walking in with him was like, no, he has to stay, he's a witness. I ended up not being a witness. I ended up almost getting in trouble. I worked my way out of it by having one of the cleanest records in that school, which I'm kind of proud of, to be honest, because I've done some stupid stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, like from making teachers cry to legit cussing out a teacher. Like it's not good, like completely. So around this time, we get escorted up to the office and get put into separate rooms, because we got 4 principals at my school, so we get sat in 3 different rooms, and one was still open. But we get questioned and stuff, and they call my parents, and my parents are like, you're in enough trouble already, why'd you do this, why'd you do that, all this other stuff, and they start screaming, yelling. And at that point, I I get let go and go back to class, and then that next day I have to go fill out what I did since I've been leaving or whatever. So I filled it out. I told them that I got in trouble, and then after that, I went and talked to the juvenile probation lady. And so I get done talking to her, and she said, how'd you get in trouble? And I was like, well, I didn't really get in trouble, but I just got basically a good talking to. And she goes, okay, well, we're going to let you go and do all this other stuff, and if you mess up one more time, then you're going to boot camp for 6 months. I was like, okay, no problem. So I go back home. I get grounded from my parents for two months, basically. A month without a phone, period, and then I get a month of having a phone just to school, and then the rest I couldn't have anything else. And while that was happening, I started thinking about some stuff and how it could really make my life better. And then after that, I really haven't gotten much trouble since, but I got some crazy stories. But yeah, so that's going to be the end of the video today. If you liked, subscribe and comment and tell me what you think about it. And, follow me on Twitter at SalesPSD, because need to get them follows up, if you know what I mean, and be on the lookout for some of my crazy tweets, such as, I do kiss my sister even though I let my uncle fuck me for money, and cum stains. Have a good one.